go ahead and welcome everyone to good morning, good afternoon, good evening. CIFAR Alliance Fall Open Roundtable event. We call this the Road to COP, but we're actually at the doors of COP and banging to be let in because the big show starts tomorrow. And we're really excited to have a lot of representation, a lot of engagement, a lot of activity by and from the CIFAR Alliance members and through our co-sponsorship with the Resilience Hub for a second year, which we'll be hearing quite a lot about. Would encourage everyone as you come in, just say hello in the chat, who you are, your organization you're representing today, and where you are in the world today. And throughout the conversation, feel free to drop in questions, comments, resources. This is a community learning and exchange opportunity. So we're really excited to have you all here. We've got a great lineup of speakers and presenters and updaters. We'll be having an opportunity to engage in some more direct conversations around topics of interest and things that the CIFAR Alliance members and collab leaders are up to, and we'll be leading conversations on around the COP28 events and beyond. And we'll be sharing some ways for you to engage, even if you're not, making the trek all the way to Dubai tomorrow or in the coming days. You can do that virtually, and there'll be a number of opportunities that we'll be sharing with you to get involved, get engaged, and participate in the Resilience Hub and CIFAR Alliance events in the next 2 weeks. But to kick us off, we're really delighted to have a longtime friend and supporter and VIP presenter keynote to talk about the Alliance, what we've accomplished, and what we're looking forward to at COP28. We're very pleased to have Tyler Spalding from PayPal with us today. PayPal was a seminal supporter of what is now known as the CIFAR Alliance, starting back in 2021. From the very dawn of time in CIFAR Alliance history, really kicking us off and supporting and growing the activity of this group. And we're very pleased that PayPal has agreed again to be the anchor sponsor for CIFAR Alliance's co-sponsorship of the Resilience Hub, along with supporting sponsor, the MasterCard Center for Inclusive Growth. So without further ado, Tyler Spalding is the Senior Director of Corporate Affairs and the Global Head of Social Innovation at PayPal. And Tyler, I will pass it off to you to share the words.
Well, that was very kind, Jesse. Thank you. I appreciate the introduction. And, the bottom line is I'm a dinosaur. I'm getting old. So, you put it a lot more kindly. I appreciate that, Jesse. But thanks for having me. And let me start by saying it's just sort of amazing to see how much this community has continued to grow, and the amazing, work of the CIFAR members, funders, and other contributors that we both have on the line here, but also many of whom I'm sure are sort of in transit and on their way to COP as we speak. I know Jackson and I, for our own parts, we're hoping to be perhaps taking this call from Dubai ourselves, from the Resilience Hub. But we've had sort of an interesting, a lot of change over here at PayPal, but definitely not a change in our level of commitment to this work. We've been going through a leadership transition, as many of you know, but I think, core to our mission and core to who we are as PayPal is this focus on financial health, economic opportunity, financial security. And I think increasingly, over the past several years, we've really brought that focus to the intersection of climate and to climate adaptation and resilience, more specifically. This focus on underserved communities, carries through sort of everything we do as a company. And I think over the past several years, we've seen very, very acutely the need to bring this focus and this commitment to financial security to the communities that are going to need to excuse me to the communities that are going to be impacted most in the climate transition. And so CIFAR has been, a longtime partner to us in that effort. And so, really just want to thank CIFAR and thank everyone who supports CIFAR and is involved in the work for really championing this this idea and for bringing it, to COP. I think it's amazing to have for a second year now the Resilience Hub, and I'm so looking forward to hearing what the conversations are, what the new partnerships and solutions are that are being identified and brought back for us to accelerate over the next year, so that in 2024 we can come back to COP again and say, here's how much more we did together, and here's what we're pointing at next. And so I think whether you are in Dubai yourself, or you have colleagues who are there sort of representing this work, or supporting from other parts of the world, I think COP is a really important time for all of us to reflect on what more we can possibly do to accelerate this work together in partnership with alliances like CIFAR, with the network of companies and other partners that are a part of this alliance, but also to really think broadly about the next phase and the other partners that need to be a part of this work. And so I think it sort of doesn't really matter where you are in the world. We all can, be inspired by this moment to say, we all have more that we can do. And, I know that several CIFAR friends and partners are going to be on the ground. I think that there's, at last count, like 12 or so, which is pretty amazing. And so I want to thank everyone for making that commitment, but also say, the work doesn't begin and end with those 12 organizations. There's a lot more that we can do at PayPal. There's a lot more that others can do across the ecosystem to accelerate. And I think that is what we all need to focus on. Yes, we have all done a lot of things. We have really prioritized this work, and now we really need to accelerate for the next stage of impact, and to meet the scale and the complexity of the challenges that are confronting us. And that's what I love the most about the CIFAR Alliance and our work together, is that it really is a systems approach. It really is an intersectional view, and it really is a collaborative effort, which is required to sort of step up and lead through this moment. It's not going to be any one organization; it's going to be all of us together. And so, in that spirit, I just want to also really celebrate the TECA initiative, and really want to thank Jackson and the team for continuing to demonstrate leadership in sort of making the case internally, and getting all of the ducks in a row for PayPal to step up and support the TECA initiative. And I know there's going to be more conversation about TECA later on in this agenda. But we're just thrilled to be supporting this program. We're, really excited to support the startup acceleration in Mexico specifically. But, I think that there's more that everyone can learn, and hopefully that will also catalyze more partners to come in on the TECA initiative in the coming weeks and months. I think what's notable about this again is sort of the intersectional view and the commitment to build on gender equitable climate innovation. We too are stepping up and doing more, and we will continue to do so both with the CIFAR Alliance and others. And so would encourage everyone who's a part of this community to raise up those opportunities where you see that PayPal or others can be doing more, and where we collectively as a community who cares about this work, who cares about the climate transition, and who is committed to accelerating impact, that we all utilize this opportunity to the fullest to come together and to take our work to the next level. So with that, I will pause and say thank you again to Jesse and to the team. It's really, really remarkable to see how much progress has been made in such a short amount of time. And I'm really, really looking forward to hearing the readouts from COP and, identifying those places where we hear, there are some key themes coming from the conversations and from the Resilience Hub at COP and in Dubai that we can carry forward in all of our work in the year ahead, because that's going to be essential for all of us as we plan. And so this is a great time to be having this conversation, but also to be bringing back those insights and inserting them into all of our plans and in our programs and partnerships and work for 2024 and beyond. So sorry for being a little long-winded. Sorry for being a little gravelly. I am, getting over a cough.
Is the
so
season.
Probably the best for everyone that I'm not at the Resilience Hub coughing on everyone. But really appreciate the opportunity to be with you all and to share a few words.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tyler. Really grateful for you taking the time to be with us yet again and sharing the insights and ongoing commitments of PayPal as a company and partner to CIFAR Alliance and more broadly, and that's reflected and consistently in the caliber of the leadership team that you guys bring to the table here and elsewhere, and also keeping our focus on the real imperative to move to action, to engage, to build partnerships, and to keep our eye on the prize of really supporting in material and meaningful ways the most vulnerable communities on the front lines of the climate crisis. So really, thank you again. Very eloquently stated, and a terrific way to kick us off. I think we wanted to do a quick audience participation temperature check. Next, some of you may have had the opportunity to play with Minty. We wanted to keep it light and in the context of the seriousness of the climate crisis conversation that we're engaged in, and positive in terms of giving folks a chance to sort of share wherever you are. Maybe you're about to board a plane, maybe you're about to sign up for a bunch of virtual events, or maybe you're just doing the hard work in the trenches, or all of the above. But as you look ahead to COP28, as Tyler outlined, what is it that you're looking forward to the most from COP28? It could be any number of things, whatever it is that's top of mind to you at this moment, what you're thinking about, what you're excited about. what you want to see come out of it as an outcome. Would love to get your thoughts, and we'll use the power of technology to paint a picture of where we are collectively at this moment, as we look forward to opening the doors to COP 28 and the milestone that represents, starting tomorrow. We'll give you a minute to, again, if anybody's having trouble with Menti access, just shout out in chat.
Yeah. Julian,
yes.
Julian included the link to the chat, and if required, ask 154-3140 as the access code, and we'll share the screen in a few minutes to show the results.
Maybe we give folks a chance to think about that and provide inputs while we move forward and dig into what's ahead, what we've accomplished, what's ahead. I think we're going to have the pleasure of introducing our esteemed co-chair, Jackson, who has been, in the forefront of these efforts. Again, I'm not gonna. Yeah, Tyler, you reminded me. The timeframes of CIFAR Alliance are, we're kind of in a time warp, but so we're all old and we're all young in this context. So I wanted to give the floor to Jackson while folks engage with the Menti and share their thoughts, to talk about highlights from our actions this year and updates, and also a look ahead to some of the exciting things that will be happening in the coming days. So Jackson, if it's all right, I might just pass the talking stick over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that introduction, Jesse. And we've got two PayPal folks in the head of the show here, but that does not at all mean that we run the show by any stretch of the imagination. Just a matter of sequencing, and that my other fantastic co-chair, David Delsor, is in transit on his way to Dubai right now. So for those of us who are cheering our friends and counterparts along in Dubai, representing the CIFAR Alliance agenda and showcasing the incredible actions that we collectively have been taking as a community. I just really appreciate everyone taking the time to connect virtually today. And I think, help keep me honest here, Nelly, I think we wanted to share some survey results and then touch on the events that CIFAR will be putting forward, at least the biggest ticket events that we're putting on at COP, and then quickly transition into our breakout sessions, which really is what the CIFAR Alliance is all about, coming together to learn and sense make together and coordinate on action. So I think, I don't know if we wanted to bring up slides, feel free to do that. But just in terms of the member survey that we conducted over the last month or so, thank you all for your really valuable feedback. This does get taken into consideration as those of us who are driving the organization forward are thinking about where we continue to add value and where we can learn and enhance the value proposition for the Alliance. I think what comes across very clearly in the survey results is the three core areas that are what CIFAR is all about. Coming together to create new relationships and build partnerships, sense making together, coming together with a learning agenda, and bringing forward to this field of practice valuable knowledge products, so that we can jump into strategic actions that are informed by evidence on the ground. There is so much that we could unpack with the survey results. I think some of the highlights that I've taken away from the survey clearly the relationship orientation of CIFAR as a differentiator. And so in that spirit, encourage everyone, if you are in a place, please feel free to turn on your video, and we'll get into a much more interactive segment of the session here very shortly. But it's those relationships that have been so valuable to us at PayPal, and I think to all of you, based on the results of the survey, that we create virtual spaces and in-person spaces throughout the year to connect and build relationships, learn together, and bring our a collective power to make our sum greater than the individual parts. There are opportunities for us moving forward, and I think, you know, the biggest takeaway, and I think we are quickly transitioning into much more action orientation, but I think having measurable outcomes on the ground, delivering for those vulnerable communities, for those entrepreneurs who are on the front lines of climate change, bringing solutions and finding the private sector opportunities to harness the power of markets is really what we are all about. So with that, maybe we can just touch on COP and then jump into the breakout rooms, which really, I think, speak to the direction we are going in as an alliance, to actually launching action initiatives that are finding traction and delivering results for individuals. So in Dubai next week, we have an action-packed slate with, I think as Tyler mentioned, at least 12 members, funders, and observer organizations that are there representing us at COP. We will co-host a reception in the Resilience Hub on December 4th, focused on gender and climate resilience in action. And I want to reiterate how important it is that our digital finance for climate resilience efforts are gender equitable, that we are uplifting men and women to address the urgent resilience needs that they and their loved ones and communities face. And so very, very excited to hear the outcomes from that reception. Last year, I had the pleasure of being in person for the reception that we had the pleasure of co-hosting. It was extremely well attended, and want to give a shout out here to Neil Darwadkar, who has been bringing together so much of our COP agenda, as well as Jane Del Sur, who has put together our briefing sheet that has all of the key points that our delegation will be raising. And I think maybe we can share a link to that COP 28 messaging document in the link, or I'm sorry, in the chat, or in a follow-up afterwards. But just an incredible amount of opportunity at COP to bring new partners in, find new ways to connect with the broader action initiatives that are moving along on this continued arc of ascendance on the importance of resilience and adaptation on the climate agenda. So I'm going off track here. But on December 6th, we have a very action-packed day for the CIFAR Alliance, starting at noon local time there with the UCR, Universal Climate Resilience Initiative. This is one of the exciting new action-oriented programs that are coming out of the Alliance. Then a little bit later that day in the afternoon, a private action meeting gathering to really put rubber onto the road following the demonstrations that have been proving to be so successful there. Sneak peek at what you'll get in the breakout room if you join the UCR breakout. with Kelvin. The CIFAR Alliance member dinner, member and friends dinner will take place December 6th in the evening. And it's going to take a lot to top the CIFAR dinner that we had last year, but I have a feeling that we might just do that. And again, really look forward to getting live updates in the WhatsApp channel that we have for the Alliance delegation in COP28, and debriefing with all of you early next year on all the outcomes. So maybe we can jump into the breakout room. Stand up here, unless there is anything, Nelly or Jesse, that I've missed in my opening comments.
I think
Yes, only on
Go ahead.
COP. One additional comment. There is one event that is also led by MasterCard, the Center for Inclusive Growth. It's Tech Meets Climate Empathy, and it will be focused on launching the Climate Smart Innovation Hub and talking about the work we've done. One of the breakout rooms is on that. And I will put the information in the chat in a few seconds, just in case, and also a wrap up of the events that Jackson was mentioning and the links to register if you're there, and also the summary document with the key points and the logistics for the event, so you can have it at hand.
Terrific. Thanks, Nelly, for that. Yes, very important addition to the lineup for COP28. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there in person and virtually where that's possible. Just wanted to share before we go into breakouts a couple of things. One, rich responses to the Minty. Everybody's feeling pretty fired up about COP28, around progress that's been made, around commitments, and the progress to commitments and new commitments perhaps that will come out of it. Looking at the loss and damage fund, checking ourselves and keeping accountability around the commitment progress, and what that is looking like. The tsunami that is COP, let us hope there is not a literal tsunami, just a tsunami of 70,000 people, which is literal, I suppose. New partners, peer connections, collaborations, positive progress, additional resourcing, which is a concern for everyone as we deal with this wall of challenges related to the climate crisis, concrete plans for action, and putting our money where our mouth is, and moving to action. I think those are some great summary points. I did also want to note that we have another really important partner. You'll be hearing in the breakout from Kelvin on the UCR initiative, but wanted to give a big shout out to FSD Africa, who have been really leaning in and engaged in so many ways this year in particular, supporting the TECA wave, supporting UCR, and in a lot of other different areas. Really grateful for all of that support, and did want to give a shout out. I don't know if Juliet is actually in a place, sounds like she's at a lake, so she might be paddling across it or otherwise engaged in multitasking, but if Juliet wanted to say a couple words while I set up the breakout, wanted to give that opportunity, but otherwise we'll shift over to the breakouts.
Jesse, I'm not at a lake, and I've got no idea where you got that idea from, but that's quite
okay.
cute.
I thought I saw an introduction there in the chat, but I was reading fast. So
oh, I see. Yeah, no, I'm in Lusaka, not at a lake, so maybe the L got you.
It was the L that threw me off.
Anyway, I haven't prepared anything, but thanks a lot for the shout out,
Of
Jesse.
course.
We're very happy to be involved in the CIFAR Alliance. We see a lot of value from it, and we look forward to continuing to support and partner with CIFAR and its members. So thank you very much. And I think Mary's going to be in one of the other breakouts as well on TECA, as well as Kelvin. Perfect.
Excellent. Thank you, Juliet. And I'm sorry you're not at the lake, but Lusaka is nearly as nice as any lake. So thank you, Juliet. And with that, we'll shift into the breakouts. You do get a choice. I don't know if we can throw up that screen. We've got 3 wonderful rooms with 3 wonderful facilitators who will be providing updates on the initiatives that we've already highlighted. The Climate Smart Innovation Hub, which will be featured at COP28. That conversation will be led by our colleague Ali Schmitz-Bellner from the MasterCard Center for Inclusive Growth, mentioned before as a really key partner to CIFAR Alliance and a supporting co-sponsor of our participation in the Resilience Hub. We'll have the TECA program, the Climate Venture Launcher, with our colleagues Mary and Shirley, who will be talking about what's happening there and what's coming. I mean, you've heard some highlights already in terms of the next TECA waves that are coming, so that'll be a really exciting conversation. And of course, Universal Climate Resilience, the anticipatory cash transfer during shocks, which will be led by Kelvin Massingham and Mary from FSD Africa, as Juliet just mentioned. A really exciting new initiative and very much on the forefront of action in terms of equipping vulnerable communities to not only survive but thrive through climate shock. So this will be self-selected. You can pick your breakout rooms. Maybe I'll hand it over to Nelly if there's any guidance that people need. I think it's you go down to the bottom of your screen and you can click into those. But Nelly, I'll hand it over to you.
It's gonna pop up on each on their screens, so it should be coming out. It should be coming anytime soon. No, Carmen, she will be putting the and you just click on the room that you want to join.
I just lost a couple of participants, but these will be intimate breakout rooms, so a real chance to dig into some of the details on that. And we'll give everyone about 20 minutes, to go through those, to have those conversations, and we'll do a quick check-in when we reconvene to see, what emerged. So with that, well, breakout rooms.
If you're having trouble joining, maybe put on chat which breakout room you want to join, and I'll move you to it.
There we go. Thank you, Carmen. Seeing it pop up. Thanks, Juliet. Yeah, if you click on the breakout rooms in the taskbar, you should be able to actually do that manually if it's not popping up.
If you want to stay here with us, you're welcome to as well. Jesse, you're mute. Let me unmute you.
Sorry, I was chasing my dog out of the room. That's why I was unmuted. An unwanted participant or unwelcome. Well, thanks, everyone. Welcome back. Everyone here is very welcome, and your dogs too. Hope we were able to give you a few extra minutes. Hope that was helpful in expanding on the conversations. We had some terrific ones that I could see, or as far as I could see. We did want to do a quick lightning round of takeaways. Any highlights, things that emerged as ideas, opportunities, captured your attention, surprised you from the conversation, as brief as it was. And we wanted to give Ali maybe the first opportunity, followed by Kelvin, and then Mary. Just a quick lightning round, just a couple highlights from what you discussed in the breakout. Ali, we'll be over to you.
Give it a shot. So we had a great group discussing, innovations for climate smart products, and a lot of questions from the group, which is really helpful for us to think about our agenda next year for this working group. Questions on the role of data science, questions on the role of financing these innovations, a lot of questions there, and how we crowd in other investors. We reflected a lot on how much of the innovation has to do with agriculture. That was primarily confirmed with everyone, but some really good critiques on how agriculture is, of course, not a monolith, and there are really interesting innovations if you look beneath that at the different solutions under the agriculture umbrella. And I think there's just a lot more to learn on this space, so more to come.
Excellent. Very cool. Thanks very much, Alex, for kicking us off. I'll pass the talking stick over to Kelvin for a quick report out. Kelvin, over to you.
Thanks, Jesse. Yeah, so we had a really good discussion. Probably could have done with more. I think there was lots more to discuss, but so ours was the Universal Climate Resilience breakout, and I think there was generally quite a lot of positive endorsement of the idea for those that were new to it, and especially endorsement of the fact that there's a real need for cash in advance of a disaster. So anticipatory cash transfer being a really important tool in delivering resilience. The comments were around the importance of localization if we're going to get this right, dealing with the specific needs of communities and having aggregators that link us specifically to those communities, which we're very much aware of. Also on the importance of getting the climate analytics and the early warning correct, so that we're actually able to deliver effectively aid in advance of a disaster. That's obviously really important, and the importance of leveraging kind of what's already being done globally, and partnerships in this, which is really, I think, actually is the core of our strategy. We wanted to build a platform that connects multiple different partners. So yeah, thanks for everyone who joined the session. If others want to have a look at the deck, I popped it in the chat. But back over to you, Jesse.
Perfect. Thanks, Kelvin. Yeah, and in time we recognize that this is just the beginning of a conversation, but that's why it's an opportunity to dive in, make connections, follow up, participate virtually, come to Brown Bags and join us in this journey going forward if you haven't been with us already. So great to hear that. Last but not least, Mary, want to pass it over to you to report out from the TECA Wave conversation, which was a great one.
Yeah, thanks, Jesse. It was nice to have the opportunity to share a little bit about what TECA has done through the first wave, the first blue wave in Africa. It was also great to hear some of the feedback about the uniqueness of the offering of this venture launcher. While there have been similar, it seems that it's to have a venture launcher focused on financial tools for resilience, climate tools is very unique. So that's great. And also the focus on gender and making sure it's equitable. So that was nice to hear. We received some comments about the importance of tracking which kind of innovations are replicable and scalable, not just across geographies, but also in terms of from blue economy focus to green economy focus or red wave focuses, really cities, and to see how we can develop some kind of patterns in replicability. We also tested the name of the green wave, which was Regen, and we got some good feedback there, and we'll be considering that. So yeah, thank you to everyone who joined. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or Shali. Didn't get much time for that.
Indeed. Not enough time for these exciting conversations. Thank you, Mary, and thank you, Ali and Kelvin, again for leading those breakouts and planting those seeds to be grown upon and built upon going forward. I did want to give a quick shout out to two things before we shift over to another exciting update and teaser for a future event and ongoing work that's being done around the voices of affected people. Wanted to give a shout out to Charlie Pettigrew, who was with us earlier, who's had to peel off. MetLife Foundation is not yet a member, but they've been an important funding partner for the CIFAR Alliance. So did want to recognize MetLife Foundation as well. Really appreciate their support. And the next best thing to being in person, we wanted to do a group photo two-dimensional. So if you're here and you're not on screen, find a way to be on screen for just a second, and let's grab a group photo. I think Nelly, you're our lead photographer. Yes, Ria. I think I'm gonna fix mine here as well. And let's get ready for a group photo. Nelly, do you want to do a countdown for us?
2 and 3.
All right, bravo.
Oh, I didn't get Colin. Wait. 1 second.
Oh, Colin. Colin was fixing his hair too, like me. Yeah, takes a while.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. All right, you don't have to stay on video if you're not comfortable to, but we welcome you to, because it's wonderful to see your smiling faces as always. We wanted to shift gears and pass the talking stick over to our colleague Graham Wright, and Wendy may be here as well. I'm not sure. I didn't see her, but who are the co-leads for the Elevating the Voices of Affected People collab. They actually are overachievers. I think it goes without saying. They've got two white papers in progress. Graham's going to be talking about one of them, I think, and placing a teaser. Both of these papers will be topics of our brown bag series kicking off next year, which Graham will get into a bit more. But Graham, I wanted to give you a few minutes to talk about the locally led adaptation work that has been going on the collab and is about to be launched into the world. So Graham, over to you.
Many thanks. Yeah, sure. Off you go, Nelly. Move us forward if you would. So yeah, 2 papers. The first is going to be talking about the use of financial services by poor people in the context of climate change, and that is being reviewed at the moment within CGAP and being ready for publication. And this other one, we are just in the design phase of, and it looks at locally led adaptation. So Nelly, if you could, am I sharing screen slides, or are you?
I'll share. I was just waiting for you to.
Okay, great.
See you.
Super. Great. So locally led adaptation, as many of you will know, is growing in impetus, and I believe is just really important. We had a great conversation in one of the breakout rooms about the importance of understanding hyperlocalization and how different people are impacted by climate change. And so if we're going to support adaptation effectively, it can't all be planned adaptation that is top down. It needs to be bottom up as well, and to be focused on local initiatives. So what you can see from this complicated looking diagram from the Asian Development Bank is the importance of local municipal or district governments working with local communities to build their locally led adaptation plans. And if you go to the next slide, Nelly, we think that we've built an approach that, one more, Nelly. No, that's it, perfect. We built an approach that has sort of four layers. So the first layer looks at the high level factors that are going to impact strategy. So obviously regulatory and policy environments and the planned adaptation measures that the government is going to do top down, as well as climate data and forecasts. And here I'm talking about not short term, but medium and long term. And when we look at those that are housed in the Copernicus system of the EU, the World Bank and USAID, they're still fairly high level and still somewhat limited to sort of temperature and precipitation. So there's a lot of work that we're going to need to see done, I hope, in due course, but the locally led piece will allow communities to nuance those forecasts a bit. And then obviously the financial services landscape, because if you look, and we'll get to this in the next slide, at the moment, the funds that are being allocated for adaptation are hopelessly inadequate. So now the idea is to drive this. No, back. The idea is to drive a participatory planning process between local government and local communities that starts with a situation analysis, then looks at desired future, looks at barriers and pathways, and then the financing of it. So that you get an output that is a locally led adaptation strategy, and then that is subjected to some really quite serious governance that looks at risk analysis and participatory monitoring. And throughout that, we need to maintain these feedback loops so that these processes actually then feed back to the top-down government planned adaptation measures that are underway. Next, please, Nelly. So I said that and one more, at the moment, if you look at the sort of UNEP estimates, they're about 5 to 7 times higher than what is currently being invested in adaptation. And obviously this is a real problem. What I think we will see, what we have to see, is blended finance playing a very important role in this context, using a variety of mechanisms in order to get the private sector heavily involved in financing adaptation. And at the moment, most of private sector money is just going into mitigation. So there's a lot of work to be done here. I can't remember if I've got another slide or not, Nelly. I don't think I have. Oh no, that's right, one more. And in the context of CIFAR, of course, with its digital focus, it's our belief that digital technology can play a really, really important role. At the moment, where locally led adaptation planning is being done, it's very, very analog, and there's lots of sticky notes and manual write-ups and processes. And if we're going to take it to scale, we have to reinvent it and inform it with some digital technology. So I will run a brown bag lunch on this, and we'll publish the white paper fairly soon. And I'll run a brown bag lunch on the Thursday, the 25th of January, I hope, but confirmation to come on that. And we will run a separate brown bag lunch on financial services and climate change when that has been finalized in conjunction with CGAP. And that's it.
Wonderful.
Any questions?
Do we have anything in chat? I think there's some excitement around the slides. Certainly some of these can be circulated and shared. And Nelly, thanks for confirming the date with the invitation. Be on the lookout, another reason to engage. And I will note, Graham is an overachiever in so many ways, and really has an enormous and important leadership role in the collabs, including the Climate Resilient Ag collab, which also has a white paper forthcoming that has benefited from a lot of collaborative work with a number of players, including David Ferran from FSDA and the GSMA colleagues and so many others. So I don't know, Graham, if you wanted to say anything about that. I don't want to put you on the spot for that white paper. I know it's in review, in peer review right now. But
oh, it's published and out.
It's out.
Jesse. So
you're producing so many white papers that I just can't even keep up.
So where we are with the CRAG working group is the white paper is published. What I would really, really like to do is corner about $100,000 to $150,000 to work with lead players to really flesh out what that white paper means in terms of a large program on those 3 pillars of coordinated and integrated value chains, diffusion of innovation, and financial services for smallholder farmers. And the idea, we've got such a strong lineup on the CRAG working group. We've inducted IFS advisors and MasterCard's foundation and others. As I say, for me, the next step is to take the white paper and say, okay, if we're going to move forward with this and really see how we make digital technology play a catalytic role in the transformation of agri-food systems. Let's work with that outstanding talent base to build a really strong proposal. So if anyone is sitting on 150 grand at the back end of a year, please do let me know.
There we go. Add that to our call to action.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Graham. Really great. Yes. And we'll recirculate that white paper for those of us who need a refresher like myself to catch up to Graham's prolific white paper production into action. So fantastic. Thanks again. We'll shift gears really quickly to a few announcements. Again, a lot of exciting work going on, and we want to be sure to share that. There are a set of case studies that are recently finished by the CARMET, or Metrics and Measurement Working Group. So wanted to give a chance for our colleagues, Benjamin Mazata and Malika Anand, to talk about that a bit related to the NIDO work there. So Ben and Malika, over to you.
It's Marco, and I don't know if Malika will also want to. We are going to share about the case study and the benchmark analysis.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I see Marco has joined. Great, perfect. Yeah. Over to you guys.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Nelly. Yeah, so hello, everybody. Good morning. Well, I'm happy to share with you that we finalized the report, a benchmark analysis of frameworks for measuring climate resilience and adaptation, which is authored by myself and by my colleagues, Ben Masouda from BFA Global, and Rashmi Jafawar and Patrick Nussbaumer from UNIDO. And well, this report is a product of a collaborative expertise with significant contributions from the working group members, now the collapse. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the JP Morgan Chase for funding this activity and for Malika for getting us those funds. This report will be published by the CIFAR Alliance on the website during the second week of the COP. That's around the 11th of September. By way of background, this report results from the work started last year by creating the Metrics and Measurement Working Group with the impetus of both the BFA Global and UNIDO. And well, the genesis of the working group is that we all know that micro, small, and medium enterprises are vital in supplying goods and services for the population. However, most of these MSMEs may find measuring and communicating their contribution to climate adaptation or resilience challenging, right? We all know that. And at the same time, we're witnessing a growing plethora of indicator frameworks, but inconsistency and complexity, which are driving difficulties for usability and comparability. And on the other hand, the impact investor community and the entrepreneur support organizations need help to understand, use, deploy those metrics for climate adaptation and resilience in a cost-effective way, right? So against this background, the report identifies 10 key patterns for measuring climate resilience and adaptations. So based on a review of 30 different measurement frameworks, we identified these 10 patterns. Some of them are related to user impact, right? A pattern that focuses on the number of beneficiaries and encasing their capabilities, about industry coverage, right? A pattern that ensures inclusion of both traditional and emerging sectors in resilience and adaptation efforts. Also about the governance related to the importance of coordination mechanisms in managing and implementing all sorts of resilience initiatives, and long-term impact, right? The pattern that focuses on strategies that ensure enduring benefits and looking beyond results to sustain long-term climate resilience. We believe that the report is valuable for investors as it tries to address a growing demand for climate resilience investments and the challenge in decision-making. And well, looking ahead, the report suggests constructive ways to move forward. It advocates for developing real-world case studies, providing practical examples of how these metrics can be applied effectively. Because we believe that such case studies are essential in translating the theoretical framework into actionable insights, right? So we can offer a roadmap for MSMEs to integrate this practice into their operation and to inform the investor community. So, Also in the report, we call for refining impact frameworks, specifically tailored to the climate actions. And on that note, as you can see from your left side on the screen, my colleague Ben finalized the first case study called Impact Investment in Climate Resilience Drought Insurance. And this case study relates to the ability of OCO to track impact how that ability to track impact helped to secure investment from Catapult, an early stage climate investor. OCO tracks the resulting changes in the amount farmers invest in the farms and the increased access to credit obtained by farmers. And these metrics deployed by OCO reflect both the downside mitigation and the upside potential to insurance coverage, how that creates. So that will be it for my side. I invite you to check on these two reports. And thank you. And over to you, Jesse and Ellie.
Wonderful. Thanks, Marco, and thanks Ben and Malika for all the work on this. Really exciting and very challenging. I mean, as Marco outlined, I mean, the metrics measurement in this space is not it is a daunting task, but this group and the broader collaborative universe is doing a terrific job in advancing that agenda. So with that, wanted to pass over to Nelly for a couple more exciting announcements and updates and forward-looking points.
Yes, I'm going to take off the screen as it's only a few comments. So I think it's a lot of information to try to put it in order. We will share a follow-up email with the events during COP, the announcements during COP, also the three brown bags coming up, one December 14th with the Carbon Finance Learning Series with the Open Forest Protocol organized by Jane from the CARFI Collab. We also have a brown bag in January to present the white paper that Graham was just talking about, and then another brown bag in February to present the work that the Metrics and Measurement Collab Marco was just presenting. However, the reports will be released earlier. The reports that Marco was just mentioning will be released the second week and in our LinkedIn page, and it will be uploaded in our CIFAR webpage. Also today, we published the blog on gender and climate, which is a follow-up to the open roundtable that we had on gender in October. We also wanted to comment that that very exciting news with Climate Collective, who is one of the newest members of the CIFAR Alliance. We also signed an agreement for their support to the TECA fellows in the product hatchery phase. So they will be providing grants to the fellows to support in that part of their venture building process. So very happy with this new partnership. Also, coming next year, we will be doing a much stronger emphasis on of a gender lens into the CIFAR Alliance collabs and overall scope of work. We will be doing some gender masterclasses as part of Skull World Forum and the New York Climate Week and a virtual one. And we will also be working in integrating a much more intentional gender lens into the Universal Climate Resilience platform that is being led by several of the CIFAR Alliance members. So this is our new grant or the first time that we're going to have a dedicated effort to pursue this gender intentionality that we've been wanting to do from the beginning and that we've done, but not in a structured way. So those are some of the announcements. However, in the email we sent with the recording of this call, we will make sure to put it point by point and also share the deck of today's roundtable.
Perfect. Thank you, Nelly. Lots of exciting things coming up. So encourage everyone. We'll give a shout out at the end and a bunch of links to keep you engaged and entertained throughout the COP events and beyond as we close out. But before we do, I want to give the last word to a very important partner who has really played an essential role in supporting CIFAR Alliance this year in so many ways, not only through sort of our continued growing up process as we mature as an organization and a network, helping us through governance and strategy formation process, but also supporting a number of key initiatives like the Climate Smart Innovation Hub and others. So want to give the talking stick to Ali Schmidt-Fellner, Vice President for Insights at the MasterCard Center for Inclusive Growth, who will give us some closing insights and perhaps share some calls to action, as is our tradition on these open roundtables. So Ali, over to you.
Thanks, Jesse. That's far too kind. I'm very grateful to be part of the CIFAR Alliance and contribute to it this year. Thank you to the BFA team who puts all of this together and is so thoughtful about each of these engagements and roundtables, ensuring we maximize our learning opportunities. And thank you to everyone for joining. It's a big, time out of your day during end of year activities, and your participation is incredibly valuable and adds to the future of this initiative. So I'm sure you can all agree there is so much interesting and important work going on across the CIFAR Alliance. A few reflections from today's conversation. CIFAR Alliance is clearly serving a unique role to bring diverse stakeholders together to innovate for solutions for climate change. And it's only gaining momentum and building out quite a robust knowledge base. Today, just to name a few, we heard about measurement on adaptation and resilience, STAR climate products, climate smart product teardowns, locally led adaptation plans. And so we really need the entire group, your collective expertise and networks, to move the work forward and to disseminate it across your networks. And as Jesse and Nellie mentioned, there are so many learning opportunities to come. So we hope you'll stay engaged and participate, both COP activities and beyond. So we'll pass to Jesse in a few minutes to speak more to that. And for those who are already formally involved in the CIFAR Alliance, please continue to stay engaged and help us drive this knowledge and action agenda next year. And for those who are new to CIFAR, please reach out to us or Jesse and Nellie in particular to think through how your organization can contribute more intentionally next year. And thank you to everyone for your efforts to scale climate finance solutions for vulnerable people and the planet. And with that, I will pass back to Jesse to close us out.
Thank you so much, Ali. A great call to action. And I'm not sure there's much more I can add to that. I mean, I think there, again, some links are dropped into the chat. Please do engage, jump into those. A lot there. I added the resource library where the CRAG white paper is indeed there, along with a lot of other terrific resources that you can dig into, and more really coming every day, and not just from the CIFAR Alliance, but our broader community of partners and collaborators as well. The brown bags are upcoming, the next one the week after next. And in the thick of COP28, there is the virtual hub from COP28. So please feel free to jump into that. Nellie, I think, has already circulated the deck where you can click on this. The Resilience Hub does a terrific job. Those of you who might have experienced that last year, of keeping the virtual engaging. Time zones, can be interesting for some of us, but if you're a night owl, or even if you're, a day owl, depending, you can certainly catch sessions pretty much 24/7 over the next couple of weeks as COP kicks off, and a lot going on in the Resilience Hub, including the CIFAR Alliance member events and supported events, but also, more broadly, just a tremendous agenda unfolding. And as Ali, you kindly said, Nellie and I are always available if you want to reach out. The CIFAR Alliance brown bag, yes, thank you. There's a 14th, so it's a chance to kind of get a breather and collect your thoughts after the excitement of the COP28 events. So please do join that. Reach out to us. We are looking for, always looking for new partners. If you're interested in exploring membership or being part of a collab, or supporting and engaging with the Alliance in any number of ways, we're happy to talk through that. We do hope to have We're on the cusp of a couple new member announcements, so we'll be excited to share those on our LinkedIn and our website very soon. So be on the lookout for that. Some great new members in the active process of onboarding. So follow us on LinkedIn, get on the webpage, get on our newsletter. It's a great and brief, very crisp and information-packed read. And reach out to us, and we hope to see you at the next Brown Bag on the 14th. Would just echo Ali and her thanks to everyone for taking the time out during this busy time. Tyler for kicking us off, Jackson as co-chair, for as always the guidance and commitment that you and David, who was with us in spirit from the road, always bring, and to all of you for being part of this important journey. So we'll see you at COP28 virtually or in person. And thanks again.
Thanks,
Bye, everyone.